Part 8. Fill the states on the left well. In the earlier chapter, I said that good selling is like painting and harvesting in a country where things grow all year round, planting and harvesting all the year long. Another way to think of is in terms of the previous wall that I just mentioned. If you have ever seen a previous wall, you know how it works. On at a time, see guy in chains files at stage people get up, he feels their seats movies is that of while a little files the next stage and so on until all the people the cells have left and new ones come on. Then the while turns a while and he stops it and does that while emptying and filling again. Good selling is like that too. On the wall is always moving just a little bit so that some people, the ounce you have just sold, can get off a while and others, the ounce you have just starting to work on, can get on by the time they have came full circle. The are ready to be sold. Giving up these states can be replied for a while. I say for a while because nobody buys a car forever. People buy on for 2 or 3 or maybe 5 years and then they are ready for another on. Whether they like to know, it's not. But if you keep proper records and files and dates, you know it's a maybe even before they do. In my example, in the last chapter, I served the Koshi in a state on the first wall. In a way, I have him locked in that state. I know what he devours, so I know he probably will win to trade. I know something about the egg of his car, so I'll know a little about how much money he will need to have a bro to buy a new car. I know where he lives, maybe example, and where he works, so I have an idea of how good a credited risk and he where is likely it's good for browsing a credit on a small loan company or whatever. And I know when he thinks he will start looking for a new car, and I will be back on the people few weeks before he says he will start looking. So I will probably he authored to be other salesman he is likely to say. In fact, if I handle it right, I may be the only salesman he ever tells to. It's stirring up there on my well and I know exactly where. A lot of the time, let's face it, it does not work quite that way. Something a guy will not tell you that much, or maybe you don't even know who is the on your wall because you sent somebody a piece of mail in the part is sterile and you don't even know it. That does not really matter. I mean, it's a great to get Star Koshi is a good prospect is already properly unqualified just from a couple of phone calls. But don't forget the strategy string. You get the out of their sum of kill will strike. Maybe when I called Koshi back, he will have won a lottery of biggest rolls rookie red already. So what? I asked him is want anybody else to who is looking for a buy a car. A relative who was over for dinner. Somebody is stop maybe. Neighbor who is tolerate his car yesterday. Or maybe I just wish him luck and him tell me about where he bought a lottery ticket. Then I says that it might be nice to use some of that money to buy his wife and his daughter was generating a new car too. Or maybe I just make some present small talk and he remembers she when he is brown all the money and needs to save a car again. I may or may not exactly where step coach is sitting, but I do know his name and where he reads him when, and that is worth something. It's a piece of information that can be mined, and like you are looking for gold, he's worth calling back maybe more than ounce, and he's worth putting a mailing list and begin his task with again. When I tell about this guy, I am sure you understand that I am really referring to a lot of people. The more, the better. I have sold more than 12,000 cars and tickets since I got into a automobile business. Since I have increasing volume of repeat business, it is hard to say many of those 12,000 plus sales repairs. It's all written down, and in my records I have a car for every buyer. And if I sold a person more than once, it says when and what if called the rest. So let's say the more are 9,000 different names of sold customer in my file. You would think that mailing to 9,000 names in expensive postation, and it still is. After all, I mail them all first class, and it costs plenty of postage alone those days. But my mailing list is bigger than that, because it also includes names of people and I have not sold yet. So it costs me a lot to keep those records too, and the mailings. The dealer plays a good part of those costs, but I play plenty too. But it's worth every plenty of those cost of mailing the list, keeping up to date, and so nothing of the mailing themselves. If you hate a list like that, you would understand its value. That's many names of soul propositions is the most valuable thing a salesman can have. Maybe you want to be able to put this together anywhere near this themselves name. It does not matter, because however big your respect, it's a list of people who have already qualified in some way. There are millions of projects in the whole country, and maybe a few hundred thousand in any major metropolitan area. But getting your holds on the specific name, address, anything else, or real people is somebody valuable. I don't have to tell you that, but I just want to remind you to escape the feeling into habit and mourning about how or nobody comes to see you. You already have alone projects leads. When are you doing to bring them in? Who you ask well for efforts do all your friends and relatives know where are working those days. You have got a little address book and in your pocket and with their names. That's a project a list that you I am sure already know about. But what have to done literally to be get in touch with them? Here's another good source of projects. Your file of paid bills. What I am saying is that the people you buy things ought to be projects in the things you sell. Everybody wears clothes, living in a house or apartment with furniture and appliances, drivers a car, and a businessman like the bencher at the florist, and it's like all dealer. Use tickets. All the people I buy from are on my list. I try to sell them every time I see them to buy from them. When I give them money, I let them to know again what I sell, and I work in the other way too. It's a guy buys a car from me. I know what businesses he is in. When I need to come some up what he sells, and I will buy some from him. And let me know that I appreciate his buying for me. I am not saying we can all live by taking each others' lottery, but it's the people you buy from centrally out or to be our prospect list. So check back into your personal bills file to see whom you are giving your money to. Maybe it's that they give some to you. Get lots of 250. It's always opening, and when we are telling about your benefit of your filling stations and your dirty cleaner figure, and that is telling to that many people up in the some things. Every on those people tells customer, here's some tell about kids and editings and cars. Some of them, many are not even know what that you are doing for living, so you are to tell make sure that they do know. Make sure everybody knows what you sell. That sounds like pretty implementary advice, and maybe you are heard it too many times already. But I have run into a lot of salesmen who never tell people other than close friends and relatives what they do so for living. They say that sales people, especially a car salesman having a big image. Well, let me tell you that I am proud of what I do for living. If your sales are to business or industry, you may think that's important or that I cannot help you. I say it can. Remember, great loss of 250 people are always telling about who they know and what they do. I know of a salesman who sold a 1,20,000 computer service because a friend told another friend about him. I believe that every salesperson out of the be proud of his or her profession. Look, it's that way. Since I was 35 years old, I have sold more than 12,000 new cars and trucks. Do you have how many jobs that he created and how many skills to have be prouded so sold to take those cars, how many money General Motors and all the thousands of aspirants to talk in just what I did. A million salesmen make who wears go round. Because if you don't keep up moving, it's a good to of the serves and out the instrument and wholesale the while American system will stop running. So you make sure everybody knows you are a salesman and that they know what you sell and when you buy from them. You don't have to make some kind of trade with them, some kind of reciprocal deal, but it's just like them know every ounce in a while that you are have something and for them any time they need it. And what you win from them it's just a salesman. But information if you sell jewelry when you hear to somebody is going to graduate, you know that can be late to sell up the watch of a tail ring. And if you're selling cars, when you hire to guy tolerate his car and you can say sorry, but I keep it mind this guy going to need another car and that's probably going to be a nice big check from the insurance company to pay for it. So don't forget about the benefit of the kickbacker. They can help you fill those states for the future well of plant those seeds and it's a freight swell or how you went to look and what I consider the professional system of selling. Now let's get specific about the some of my other methods for getting those of seeds filled and seeds planted or spacing stuck on the wall. However you look at it, it's a get going from to be away and get money in your pocket. Put everybody can you think on you can your fears well. Thanks for listening.